Beautiful, beautiful. Can you feel your light shining after that song? Yeah, that's what we're here for, to allow our light to shine and to see that light in each other and know that it is the very truth of us, the very absolute truth of us. There are such profound and powerful things to know, and we come here to reconnect with knowing them. And so today is Earth Day. Happy Earth Day. Together, Happy Earth Day. Yeah. Yeah. For we are of the earth. We are the earth. We say Happy Earth Day to the earth, but it's a Happy Earth Day to ourselves and to each other, for we are so one with our Mother Earth. We are so one. That is another profound truth to connect with and to know with each cell of our being. Earth Day was first celebrated on April 22nd, 1970. That's a while ago. It's always celebrated on April 22nd, but April 22nd is not always on a Sunday. This year we get to celebrate it on a Sunday. It was proposed by Senator Gaylord Nelson of Wisconsin, who is no longer with us on this earth plane. He and other people worked hard to make it happen. The purpose of Earth Day is to celebrate the earth, to celebrate our environment, to honor it, to be in awe of it, to love it from the bottom of our hearts with all of our being. Another purpose is to educate ourselves and other people to become more aware, sometimes of that which we already know, and to inspire change, to inspire us to take the steps that are being called for, to make the changes that are needing to happen. And the scope of Earth Day, it started out as a dream on the part of Senator Nelson and his colleagues, but now it is a worldwide celebration. Starting with 1990 and continuing into today, it is an international celebration that includes at least 200 million people. These numbers are from a few years ago, so I imagine they've grown. And 141 countries are involved. So as we celebrate Earth Day, as we say Happy Earth Day to our earth and to each other, we are joining the love and energy of at least 200 million people. So all of us, all these people are joining together, opening their hearts and embracing the earth, embracing Mother Earth. And so as we do that, I found this pledge online and I really love it. I will read it now, and then if you are so moved, join me in saying it. I will read it a second time, and then you can join me in saying it. It was inspired by our Pledge Allegiance to the flag. You can tell by the rhythm and the movement of it. But the words are beautiful, and it's not in opposition to our flag. We can have full allegiance to our country and to planet Earth, right? So, I pledge allegiance to the earth and all the life which it supports, one planet in our care, irreplaceable, with sustenance and respect for all. So if you're so moved, join me. I pledge allegiance to the earth and all the life which it supports, one planet in our care, irreplaceable, with sustenance and respect for all. All right, so as we pledge this, it calls for action. It calls us then to take steps. And we begin by pledging right now, today, in this moment, to do just one thing. One thing. I know we all already do so much to love our earth, but each of us could find one thing more to do. So today, pledge to do one thing. It could be a very little thing, but once it becomes part of your routine and part of how you breathe and move through your day, you're ready to do one more thing. So one thing at a time. It doesn't need to be overwhelming. Our earth can feel so large, and it can feel like such a challenge, but we begin with just one thing. And you can do this in your homes or on your own, but we can do this as a community too. Unity Worldwide Ministries has a program called Earth Care, and it outlines steps that a spiritual community like ours can take to become certified as a Unity Earth Care community, right? And we're on the way, you know, we've done a lot. Our solar energy, we recycle, we clean up Lagoon Valley. We do a lot. We do a lot. And we deserve a pat on the back. But as a community, we could do just one more thing. Maybe there's 2 or 3 or 10 of you that want to get together and form an Earth Care team and get us certified. Why not? You know, why not? Because there's always that one more thing that can be done. For example, Teresa and Mary Carnahan do most of our shopping for the supplies in our kitchen, right? And they do a great job with our coffee cups, right? We buy coffee cups, but those cups are always recyclable cups, and I'm so proud of them for doing that. We take these cups at the end of the day and put them in the trash, right? So that could be one more thing for this community. Not long ago, we did a one more thing. We replaced the plastic stirrers with wooden stirrers. How many people noticed that? Yeah. So those one more things don't have to be wildly dramatic, but they make a difference. One more thing. And so we breathe and we honor that this breath is the air that surrounds us. It is the atmosphere of this earth, and we are one with every breath. With every breath, our oneness with our earth brings us alive, is the life that moves through us. So today we are talking about interbeing. It seemed appropriate. We've been doing a series where we've looked at unity teachings and how they align with some of the Buddhist teachings. And the unity teachings we've been looking at are the practices of releasing error thinking, the practices of being able to see truth despite appearances. And we've shown how that aligns with Buddhist teachings of right perspective or right view, right thinking, right speech, right action. So interbeing is a Buddhist teaching. I'm also told it's a major thing in the Star Wars tradition, but I know more about the Buddhist teaching than I know about Star Wars. Sorry. So, interbeing is based on the teachings of the Buddha. And the teachings of the Buddha have been written down in something called the sutras or the suttas. Sutras is the word in Sanskrit. The Buddha spoke in a language called Pali, and in Pali they're called the suttas. They're related languages but a little bit different. So these teachings of the Buddha that were recorded in the suttas, teachers like Thich Nhat Hanh have taken and then popularized them, put them into books so we could read and understand and make sense of these teachings. And Thich Nhat Hanh took some of those teachings and created this concept he calls interbeing. And it's been in his books, in his talks. It's a major part of his teaching. And interbeing has many definitions, but at the heart of it, interbeing refers to the very basic, essential interconnectedness of the universe. The interconnectedness of all people, the interconnectedness of all beings, the interconnectedness with all of the earth and all of the universe. I have a longer version than what would fit up there, so let me read to you. This is, again, from writings of Thich Nhat Hanh. He said, "If you are a poet, you will see clearly that there is a cloud floating in this sheet of paper." Does everyone see it? There is a cloud floating in this sheet of paper. Without a cloud, there will be no rain. Without rain, the trees cannot grow. And without trees, we cannot make paper. The cloud is essential for the paper to exist. If the cloud is not there, the sheet of paper cannot be there either. So we can say that the cloud and the paper inter-are. Each of them are, but they inter-are, because without the other, they don't exist. The observation that we inter-are, while true and poetic, is not really the most important element of inner being. Did everybody catch that? As profound as the teaching of our oneness is, that's not even the deepest learning. It's still not even the deepest teaching of interbeing. The important part is the realization that there is no independent self, that the perception of self, of me, of mine, is an illusion. Awareness that I am made of non-I elements leads to the understanding of non-self, and it is the realization of non-self that brings an end to suffering. Did everybody absolutely get that? The important part is up on the power part. There is no independent self. Apart from you and you, I do not exist. Someone came up to me after the 8 o'clock service to talk about this idea, and she and I were standing facing each other, and I said to her, well, who I am, my consciousness, my energy is not contained in this skin. Yes, it expresses through this body, and as long as this body is alive, there is no separation. But my consciousness extends so far beyond this body. As she and I were standing there, her consciousness extends far beyond her body. And I said to her, where do you end and I begin? Where is the separation between you and me? It's not there. My energy extends, my consciousness extends far beyond the sanctuary. So where does the separation between me and each of you happen? Where's the dividing line? When we live in the illusion that the skin is a boundary, we get to play in this notion that somehow we're separate. We can say, this is mine and you can't have it, because we believe in mine, right? But what happens if it's really true? I mean, really, really true, that we are one? Then what do we do? Then what do we do? Do we say, stay out of my space? What's my space? What if I said to you, everyone who's right-handed, and if you're left-handed, you can reverse arms, right? Everyone who's right-handed, cut off your left hand right now. If we put them together, we'll have bulk, and we can sell them, and we can make a good profit for this church. Ridiculous, right? Because that left arm is part of you. You wouldn't cut off something that's a part of you. You wouldn't cut it off to make a profit. But we cut off pieces of the earth sometimes, as if it's not a part of us. Or we cut off another person as if we're not one. Now, mind you, I know there are times when we need to act in a way that's loving to ourselves and protect the energy that we live in, but always with the knowing that ultimately we are one. We are one. So that's the deepest teaching of Interbeing, that we are one and that there is no independent self. How cool is that, right? I had an experience during a longer meditation retreat where I had been in silence much of the time, and I was walking outdoors. It was a beautiful night, and a passage from Course in Miracles came to my mind where it said, if you only knew who walks with you. And I had this image of angels walking beside me. But angels are spirit, right? So these angels had no boundaries, and they extended beyond the edges of the universe. And they walked beside me. But see, I extended beyond the edges of the universe too, because even though my spirit expresses through this body, it is not contained by it. So I walked with the angels, and we were all spanned the entire universe, one with it. And it was such a profound and mystical experience. That is interbeing. That is interbeing. So when we have this right view of who we are, we start seeing ourselves and our world so differently. There is a story that I have heard so many times, I have no idea of its origin. I have no idea if it is factually true, but I know it is truth, okay? So I will tell it. Once upon a time, there was a teacher in a classroom, and she was an elementary school teacher, and her children were maybe second grade, somewhere around there, and the assignment for the children was to draw a picture, to make a self-portrait. And the teacher was walking around looking at what the children were drawing and, encouraging them. And most of the pictures looked a little bit like this portrait, right? It's a great self-portrait. However, in the class, there were several Native American children. And when she came to their self-portraits, they looked like this. When they drew themselves a picture of who I am, that included the mountains and the trees and the grass and the flowers and the family, sometimes a very large extended family. I don't know if you could see the bunny on this side, it's kind of, and the cat. That was their self-portrait. What if we began seeing ourselves as the earth, and all the people in it? What if we started knowing ourselves as this community and our greater community and all beings on this planet? That would be truly right view, right? And right view, of course, leads to right thinking. And some examples of right thinking, again, from the Native American tradition. Actually, Chief Seattle is credited for saying this: we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. What if everyone on Mother Earth thought this way? Would you steal from your children? You know you're one with your children, right? And if that knowing begins to include our earth. Or another one from Chief Seattle. I can't read it up there. The earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth. So when we start seeing it right and thinking differently, it leads to right action. And of course, right action begins with just one thing. Just one thing. So I invite everybody to commit today to just one thing. Namaste.